You have heard the word stoic, maybe in a book, maybe in a podcast, maybe someone even called you one. But what does it really mean? And why does it matter now more than ever? In the next few minutes, I am going to walk you through the simplest, clearest, and most practical explanation of what it means to be stoic. No fluff, no academic jargon, no ancient history lecture, just pure clarity, the kind that sharpens your thinking, strengthens your focus, and helps you stay grounded, even when everything around you feels like chaos. Because let's be honest, life is not slowing down. It is getting louder, faster, more unpredictable. But your mind, your inner world, that can become your anchor. And the Stoic mindset is how. If you want more insights like this, real wisdom for real life, make sure you subscribe to this channel, The Stoic Philosophy. New videos, deep reflections, timeless truths, all designed to help you live with calm strength every single day. Now let us break it down, piece by piece. And by the end of this video, you will not just understand Stoicism, you will feel it in your bones. Chapter 1. Stoic is not emotionless. Let us get one thing straight. When most people hear the word stoic, they imagine a stone-faced figure. No emotion, no reaction, cold, like someone who just stares into the void, no matter what happens. But that image, it is wrong, completely wrong. Stoicism is not about suppressing your feelings. It is not about pretending that you are made of steel. And it is definitely not about turning into some unfeeling robot who shrugs at everything. In fact, the real Stoics, the ones who lived this philosophy, they felt everything. Joy, anger, love, loss. They were human beings, just like us. But what set them apart is how they responded to those emotions. The Stoic does not reject emotion. The Stoic respects it. They understand that emotion is a part of being alive. You cannot live fully without feeling deeply. But feelings are not facts. And a wise person knows how to feel without being driven. Let me put it this way. If your mind is like a ship, then your emotions are the waves. They will rise. They will crash. They will shake the boat. But you are the captain. And the Stoic learns how to keep the wheel steady, even in the storm. Now, this does not mean the Stoic stays silent when their heart breaks, or that they smile when life falls apart. No, they grieve, they hurt, they struggle, but they do not let that pain control the choices they make. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, lost his child. He did not pretend it did not matter. He wrote about the heartbreak, the weight, the emptiness. But in the same breath, he reminded himself, this is part of life, and my job is to meet life as it is, with strength, not surrender. You see, there's power in presence. The Stoic trains their mind to stay present, even when emotions flare. They do not deny what they feel. They simply choose not to be ruled by it. Let me give you an example. Imagine someone insults you in public. You feel the surge of anger, the heat, the urge to snap back. That is natural. That is human. But here's where the Stoic mindset steps in. You pause. You breathe. You ask yourself, is this reaction going to serve me? Or is it going to chain me to their words? 9 times out of 10, it is not worth it. The Stoic sees that. They walk away with dignity, not because they are weak, but because they are in command of themselves. The world teaches us that power is about dominance, about being louder, tougher. But the Stoics, they knew something deeper. Real strength is restraint. Real freedom is when nothing outside of you can shake the foundation within you. And that takes training. Just like building muscle at the gym, emotional strength is built over time, through reflection, through challenges, through small, daily choices. You might feel overwhelmed one day. You might want to lash out, or give up, or break down. And guess what? That is okay. The Stoic path does not demand perfection. It invites practice. Every time you catch yourself, every time you pause instead of explode, every time you stay calm when the world pushes you, you are walking the Stoic path. So here is the truth. Being Stoic is not about feeling less. It is about becoming more aware of what you feel and choosing your response with clarity and purpose. It is not emotionless. It is emotionally intelligent. A Stoic does not numb themselves. They refine themselves. They take the fire of emotion, and instead of letting it burn them, they learn to use that fire to forge something stronger. And in today's world, that is a superpower. Think about how often people say things they regret. How many decisions are made in anger, fear, or anxiety? How quickly emotions can wreck relationships, careers, peace of mind. Now imagine living with the ability to pause, to breathe, to choose. That is what the Stoic trains for. Not perfection, not numbness, mastery. So if you have ever thought Stoicism means being cold, let that belief go right now. Because the real Stoic feels, but they do not flinch. They bend, but they do not break. They live with depth and lead with calm. And that is what makes them unshakable. Chapter 2. Control what you can. Here's one truth the Stoics knew, and most of us forget. You are not in control of most things that happen in this life. You cannot control the weather. You cannot control what other people say, do, or believe. You cannot even control how your own body will age over time. And that sounds a little uncomfortable, right? Because deep down, we all want control. We want certainty. We want to believe that if we just try hard enough, plan well enough, think long enough, we can manage everything. But the Stoic mindset flips that belief upside down. It says, no, you do not need to control everything. You only need to control one thing: yourself. Your thoughts, your actions, your choices in this very moment. That is your power, and it is more than enough. Imagine this. You are walking into a meeting at work. You have done your part. You have prepared. But halfway through, someone criticizes you unfairly. You feel your heart rate spike. You feel that fire in your chest. Now what happens next? You can try to argue, get defensive, snap back, or you can pause, take a breath, and choose how to respond. You see, the criticism? That was outside your control. But your response? That belongs to you. Entirely. That single choice, to control what you can, and let go of the rest, is what separates reaction from wisdom. It is what makes you a Stoic. This mindset is ancient, but it is more relevant now than ever. Because today, we are bombarded with things we cannot control. The news, the economy, social media drama, political division. We wake up every day to a storm of noise, and most people get caught in it. They waste energy trying to fix things that are not theirs to fix. They carry the weight of the world and wonder why they feel anxious, angry, exhausted. But the Stoic, they take a different path. They draw a clear line in the sand and say, this is what I can influence. This is what I cannot. And I will not give my peace to what I cannot change. It is a radical kind of freedom, because the moment you stop trying to control what is outside of you, you take full control of what is inside you. That is where real power lives. Let me give you something simple to use. Whenever you feel frustrated, overwhelmed, or stuck, ask yourself this one question. Is this mine to control? If the answer is yes, take full ownership. Act, speak, move forward. If the answer is no, release it. Do not fight it. Do not feed it. Let it pass. This one question will change your life. It will save you from endless worry. It will protect your energy, and it will keep you focused on what truly matters. Now, do not get me wrong. This is not about being passive. The Stoic is not someone who just shrugs and gives up. No, they show up. They lead. They do the hard work, but they do it from a place of clarity. They know where their influence begins and where it ends, and that knowledge keeps them grounded. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, and also a Stoic, wrote this to himself. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He was an emperor. He could command armies. But even he knew the only true kingdom you can rule is your own mind. So here is the takeaway. You do not need to fix the world. You do not need to change every person you meet. You do not even need to control what happens tomorrow. You just need to take full responsibility for how you show up today. Your attitude, your presence, your choices. That is the heart of Stoic discipline. Control what you can. Let go of what you cannot. And trust that is enough. Because when you live that way, calm returns, clarity rises, and life begins to feel a whole lot lighter. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Chapter 3. Strength comes from within. What do you picture when you hear the word strength? Muscles, power, influence. Maybe someone who can push through pain, lead the crowd, or dominate a room. That is what the world often teaches us. That strength is loud, visible, impressive. That it is something you show off to prove you have it. But the Stoics, they saw strength differently. They believed the deepest kind of strength, the kind that lasts, comes from within. Inner strength is not about how much you can lift. It is about how much you can carry without breaking. The burden of loss, the sting of failure, the weight of silence. To hold all that with grace and calm, that is real power. You see, most people walk through life reacting. They are strong when things go their way. They are confident when people praise them. They are calm when everything is easy. But the moment life pushes back, they fall apart. They blame others. They panic. They give up their peace to everything they cannot control. The Stoic mindset offers a different foundation. It teaches you to anchor yourself within, to build a core that does not shake, no matter what storms rage around you. And how do you build that core? It starts with knowing who you are, not what others tell you, not what society demands, but what you believe, what you value, what you choose when no one is watching. When your sense of worth comes from within, no one can take it from you. That is unshakable. That is Stoic. Let me tell you this. Strength is quiet. It does not need applause. It does not show up just to prove a point. It is the father who holds his family together in hard times. It is the woman who faces grief and still shows up with compassion. It is the young man who chooses discipline over desire, even when no one sees. Inner strength is built in the moments no one talks about. When you get back up after failure. When you forgive someone who will never say sorry. When you stay kind, even when the world is cruel. That strength, it cannot be bought. It cannot be borrowed. It can only be earned from within. The Stoics trained themselves to face hardship without losing themselves. They believed that every challenge was a chance to practice. Every difficulty, test of character. And the more they faced, the stronger they became. Not hardened, not bitter, but calm, clear, grounded. Seneca once wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Read that again. He is saying, without pressure, you do not shine. Without pain, you do not grow. Without facing yourself, you never become your fullest self. Now here is the hard truth. No one else can build that inner strength for you. Not your parents, not your partner, not your teacher, not even your heroes. It has to come from your own choice every day. To rise, to reflect, to take responsibility. So ask yourself, when life hits you, where do you turn? Do you collapse into anger, blame, distraction? Or do you turn inward, breathe deep, and choose your next step with purpose? Because in that pause, in that moment between reaction and response, your real strength lives. And it grows every time you choose the harder path, the honest path, the one that leads you closer to your principles. You do not have to be fearless to be strong. You just have to face your fears and keep walking. You do not have to be perfect to be powerful. You just have to keep showing up with courage, humility, and intention. The Stoic warrior does not wear armor on the outside. They wear it inside. It is made of discipline, of patience, of truth. And every trial, every heartbreak, every moment of doubt, it all becomes part of that armor. Not a scar, but a symbol. So remember this. True strength does not shout. It does not need a stage. It stands firm in silence. It does not try to control others. It controls itself. It does not live in the noise of the world. It lives in the stillness of your soul. And once you find that strength, no one can take it from you. Chapter 4. Calm in chaos. The world is noisy. Turn on the news, chaos. Scroll social media, opinions shouting over each other. Walk outside, horns, schedules, people rushing, problems colliding. And in the middle of all that, You are expected to stay calm. How? How do you stay centered when everything around you is spinning? The Stoics had an answer. A simple, powerful one. You do not need to calm the world. You just need to calm yourself. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine the ocean during a storm. Waves crashing, winds howling. On the surface, it is wild, unpredictable. But deep below, silence, stillness. The ocean's depth remains untouched. That is the kind of calm the Stoics aimed for. Not surface-level quiet, not fake smiles, but inner stillness, even when life gets loud. Why does this matter? Because in chaos, most people panic. They rush. They react. They say things they regret. They lose themselves in the noise. But the Stoic pauses, breathes, observes, and then acts with intention, not impulse. Here is the key. Calm is not weakness. It is discipline. It takes strength to stay grounded when everything is pulling you in different directions. It takes clarity to choose your response instead of reacting on autopilot. And more than anything, it takes trust. Trust that you are okay, even if the world is not. Trust that you can handle this moment, no matter how messy it is. Marcus Aurelius said it best. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke. Let that sink in. It is not the chaos that disturbs you. It is your response to it. And that is something you can change. Let us get practical. What does calm look like in real life? You miss a deadline. Instead of spiraling into guilt or shame, you ask, what can I learn? What can I do now? Someone insults you. Instead of firing back, you breathe. You choose whether their words deserve your energy. Your plans fall apart. Instead of forcing things, you adapt. You let go of control, but not of your values. That is calm in action, not passive, not detached, present, focused, clear. Now let me be honest. Calm does not always come easy. You're going to feel anger. You're going to feel fear. You are going to be shaken because you are human. But here is the difference. You do not have to become those emotions. You can feel them without letting them control you. That is what the Stoics practiced every single day. They trained their minds like warriors trained their bodies, through repetition, through effort, through presence. They knew storms will come, always. But your peace, that is your responsibility. And it is possible. Not overnight, not perfectly, but slowly, deeply, one breath at a time. Let me share something else. The people who are truly calm in chaos, they are often the ones who have suffered most. They have been broken. They have lost. They have faced pain, grief, disappointment. And through that, they stopped trying to fight everything. They stopped clinging to how things should be. They started accepting how things are and choosing how to meet it. That acceptance, that choice, that is where real calm begins. So what about you? What chaos are you walking through right now? Maybe it is a personal storm, loss, heartbreak, stress. Maybe it is the world itself, unpredictable, divided, unstable. Maybe it is just the everyday noise, deadlines, pressure, decisions piling up. Whatever it is, you can carry calm into it. Not by escaping, not by pretending everything is okay, but by going inward, by grounding yourself in what you can control, your breath, your mind, your next action. You do not have to be perfect. You just have to be present. When you are calm, you lead differently. You speak differently. You live differently. And in a world that is always rushing, always shouting, always spinning, calm is a revolution. So breathe, pause, stand tall in the storm. And remember, the eye of the hurricane is always still. Be that stillness. That is what the Stoics would do. Chapter 5. Detachment is not apathy. Let us clear something up right now. When people hear the word detachment, they often think it means not caring. They picture someone cold, emotionless, uninvolved, a person who watches life from a distance, untouched, disconnected. But that is not what the Stoics meant. Detachment is not apathy. It is not giving up. It is not shutting down. It is not saying nothing matters. In fact, it is the opposite. Detachment means choosing where your energy goes. It means not being controlled by what you cannot control. It means caring deeply, but not letting your peace depend on things outside yourself. Let that land for a second. You can love someone fully and still be prepared to let them go. You can work hard and still be okay if the outcome does not go your way. You can show up with passion without being consumed by praise or rejection. That is detachment. It is strength. It is presence. It is maturity. The Stoics practiced this every day because they knew life is unpredictable. People change. Circumstances shift. Fame fades. Wealth disappears. Health breaks down. So if your happiness depends on those things, you will always be anxious, always chasing, always fearing. But if your peace comes from within, you become unshakable. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Receive without pride. Let go without attachment." Simple words, but hard to live. Unless you train your mind to hold things lightly, not loosely, but lightly, that means you still care. You still commit. You still give your best. But you do not cling. You love without trying to own. You work without tying your identity to success. You feel without drowning in emotion. That is not cold. That is wisdom. Think of a tree in the wind. Its roots are deep, grounded, but its branches, they bend, they move. They do not resist the wind, they flow with it. That is how detachment works. You stay grounded in your values, in your purpose, but you remain flexible with everything else, because you know you are not in control of the storm, only your response to it. Here is a real-world example. You apply for a dream job. You prepare. You show up. You give it everything, but you do not need it to define your worth. You are grateful for the chance. You learn from the process. If it works out, great. If not, you adjust and keep going. That is Stoic detachment in action. Or take relationships. You can love someone deeply, with kindness, loyalty, compassion, but still understand that people have their own paths. You cannot force connection. You cannot control another's choices. All you can do is love with open hands. That is not detachment out of fear. It is detachment out of respect for them, for yourself, for life. Here is the truth. A detached person is not cold. They are clear. They do not feel less. They feel more, just without being ruled by emotion. They know that everything is temporary, so they appreciate it more, not less. They love fully because they know it could end. They live presently because they know tomorrow is not promised. That is the beauty of Stoic detachment. It is not about running away from life. It is about stepping fully into it without being enslaved by it. You are not owned by outcomes. You are not trapped by desire. You are not defined by what happens to you, but by how you respond. And in that space, between what you feel and what you choose, you become powerful. So ask yourself, where in your life are you holding on too tight? To a title, a relationship, an expectation? What if you loosened your grip, not to stop caring, but to breathe again? What if you trusted that you could give your best and still be okay if life took another turn? That is what the Stoics did. They let go of control, and in doing that, they found peace. They found power. They found freedom. And so can you. So, to recap what we've covered today, we learned that being Stoic doesn't mean being emotionless. It's about controlling what you can, staying strong from within, and finding calm in the chaos of life. And of course, we discovered that Stoic detachment is not about apathy, but about living with peace, free from external forces controlling your happiness. If any of this resonated with you, and you want more insights to live with clarity, strength, and purpose, make sure to hit subscribe on the Stoic Philosophy. Join our community of like-minded thinkers, ready to embrace life with a Stoic mindset. Thanks for watching, and remember, life will always throw challenges your way, but with the Stoic Philosophy, you'll learn how to rise above them. See you in the next video.